So good day everyone. Welcome to our presentation for Vray for SketchUp interior rendering. In this discussion, we will explore how Vray will enhance digital design through realistic lighting, material, and visual effects, transforming the simple SketchUp models into highly detailed photorealistic interior rendering. This presentation also aims to introduce the essential tools, workflow, use techniques for interior visualization. This work is proudly going to be presented by me myself, Ivan B. Mangampo. Together with me is KV Redd Mancilla, VJ Placencia, and Yvan Ruero. This is our presentation for CAD 2 as we dive deeper into the role of rendering technology for architectural design. So to start, what is V-Ray? V-Ray is an advanced rendering extension that uses simulated light behavior to produce highly photorealistic 2D images and immersive 360 stereoscopic renders. It also allows designers to create realistic interiors, materials, and lighting environments, making it one of the most powerful tools for architectural visualization, especially when paired with SketchUp. So in here, I will be discussing the primary use cases in architecture of V-Ray, why architects use this software, and the key advantages over alternatives. So I will be just discussing the summarization of each one since this is also being presented in the slide now. So the primary use of cases of Vera in architecture is mainly to create a highly realistic visualization of both interiors and exterior. It helps architects test lighting, materials, and shadows while also producing client-ready renders and walkthroughs that improves design, communication, and presentation quality. Next is why architects use this software. Architects choose V-Ray because it delivers an accurate lighting and material realism. While still being a user-friendly, it also offers a strong balance between ease of use and professional results and integrates smoothly with SketchUp, making it an efficient use for design workflows. And lastly, the key advantages over alternatives is that V-Ray stands out for its fast rendering performance, support for both GPU and CPU, and access to large asset library. It also offers a real-time rendering through V-Ray Visions and work well with other design platforms such as Revit, Rhino, and Chaos Cosmos, giving users the flexibility and powerful visualization tool. So what is the system requirements to use this application? First is the recommended specifications, which is the CPU. You have to have an Intel Core i7 or i9 13th Gen or AMD Ryzen 7. And you also have to have a 16 to 32 gigabytes RAM and a GPU of RTX 30 to 60 or 40 to 60. You also have to have a storage of 1 terabyte and a display of 15.6 VHD or higher resolution. And for the minimum specification, if you don't have the higher specification for a laptop or a CPU, you can have an Intel Core i5 or a Ryzen 5 and a RAM of 8 gigabytes and a GPU of NVIDIA GTX 1650 and a storage of 512 gigabyte SSD and also an OS Windows 10 or 11.
Hello everyone, my name is Val and I will be presenting to you all the workflow of V-Ray rendering. The first step is model import. Bring your finalized 3D model into SketchUp or 3ds Max ready for V-Ray rendering. Second is the material setup. Apply and adjust V-Ray materials for realistic textures and reflection. The third step is lighting setup. Add and balance natural or artificial lights to create mood and realism. The fourth step is camera setup. Position cameras and define views or angles for rendering composition. The fifth step is rendering settings. Configure quality, resolution, and optimization settings before rendering. The sixth step is export. Render and save the final output in desired format and resolution. The last step is post-processing. Enhance the rendered image using VFB, Photoshop, or Lightroom. And now, I will be showing you guys the live demonstration for the V-Ray rendering.
In this live demo, the first step is model import, the second step is material setup, and now we will open the asset editor. After that, open the Chaos browser and choose the material you want to set up. After choosing a material from Chaos browser, Next step is we will open the SketchUp and we will choose the material we want to edit. After choosing the material in SketchUp, click Apply Selection from the material you choose or downloaded from the Chaos browser. Next is we're gonna edit the Vray settings in Vray Asset Editor. Click the settings and choose the quality. If it's low, if you are still drafting. If your graphics card is higher than your core processor, please click GPU and click check the GeForce RTX. Next is turn on the denoiser and click the Intel Open image. For the render output, turn on the save frame and the save image and also the resumable rendering. Next is please turn on the material override so that it is faster to render when we are still in a drafting phase. For the quality, reduce the noise limit and increase the max subdivision. For the V-Ray GPU, please choose RTX if your graphics card is RTX. Choose CUDA if your graphics card is GTX. In here, you can edit the camera parameter. In volumetric environment, please choose environment fog if you want CAD rays inside the house. And now, we will proceed to the lighting setup. In here, you can edit the sunlight and also the custom orientation. You are free to choose if you want V-Ray orientation or the SketchUp orientation. For the lighting, in here we have Light Gen Dome if you want to download custom dome light. Pick the rectangular light if you want area light. And then pick the sphere light if you want all around light, and it is also best for bulb. Choose spotlight if you want cone shape light. Please choose IES light if you downloaded a file from browser. Choose point light if you want to emit light from a single point. And last, choose dome light if you want global lighting. Since we are already done in camera setup, we will now proceed to interactive rendering. Now, please open the frame buffer. Please click this icon if you want to see your render. This will be the result if it's still rendering. And that's it for the live demo. Thank you.
Again, so here in here we have the workflow tips and best practices. First is the file organization strategies, and here you will be keeping assets, textures, and scenes in clearly labeled folders to avoid missing links and confusion. Next is saving different versions of your work, such as version 1, version 2, to keep track of your progress and prevent also data loss. And next is also using proxy models for heavy scenes. It's like converting the complex models into viewer proxies to reduce the log and also, to improve the render speed. And fourth is the render in passes where if software allows. It is where the render elements separately, such as the lighting, reflection, shadows, etc., for easier post processing. And next is we have the number 5, the common errors and fixes, where the black or missing textures, relink texture paths, noise in render, increasing the light samples or the noise in FBB, the long render times and the lower subdivision or use adaptive lights, and lastly, wash out image, adjust the exposure or the color mapping. So hi, and here we have the lighting settings for V-Ray. We have four: the natural light control, the artificial light control, the shadow quality settings, and also the HDRI setup if applicable to your render. First is the natural light controls where in here use sunlight system and V-Ray to simulate the real world daylight and also adjust the sun position and time of day for a realistic outdoor or indoor illumination. And next is the enabling the sky model such as the HOSIC or CIE clear for accurate sky color and light scattering. And next is the shadow quality setting. It is where adjusting the light subdivisions to a higher or smoother shadows. Next is using a soft shadows for realism or enabling the global illumination for indirect light balance. This is for the shadow light settings. And next is the artificial light where the light It has different types of light. We have the rectangle, sphere, IES light, omni light, spotlight. This is also very easy to control, as such as it has a setting to control the illuminance of the light, also the intensity and the color temperature and the decay type. And lastly, if this is applicable to your render, we have the HDRI setup, where load an HDRI's environment map in Vray's environment settings, and also it provides a real world settings and reflection for outdoor renders. And lastly, it also helps in rotating the dynamic shadows and moods of the render.
Next, we have the material settings. So here we have the reflection and refraction settings. This setting is used to add reflection for metals, glass, and shiny surfaces. Control glossiness to adjust smooth or rough reflections, and enable refraction for transparent materials. Then we have the procedural and image textures. Procedural is generated by V-Ray, and image-based are photo textures. For texture mapping, positioning the texture is done on SketchUp, then processed on V-Ray's UV mapping to prevent stretching and distortion. We also have here the bump normal displacement maps. A bump map creates surface illusion, a normal map adds realistic surface and lighting, and displacement map physically alters the surface. We also have these different rendering settings for different purposes. A smaller resolution like 800 by 450 is used for draft and test renders, since it only takes about 10 seconds to 2 minutes to render. A larger resolution of 920 by 1080 is used for renders that will be used for presentations, and it takes about 5 to 20 minutes of rendering time. And for high quality renders used for submission or portfolios, a 4K resolution or higher is recommended, but it also takes up to hours to render. To optimize and use V-Ray more smoothly, we also have here some optimization tips. First, reduce polygon count. Simplify complex geometry to speed up render times and improve viewport performance. Second is use instances for repeated objects. Replace duplicates with instances to save memory and processing power. Third, disable unnecessary effects in draft mode. So turn off reflection effects like reflections, refractions, and global illumination during test renders. Fourth, render regions for quick tests. Use region rendering to preview small parts of the scene before doing a full render. And lastly, close other applications during rendering to free up RAM and CPU usage to ensure smoother, faster rendering performance.
So let's walk through our rendering workflow, highlighting V-Ray and how it fits into our post-processing procedure. We start with V-Ray frame buffer or VFB, where the raw render first appears. Here we make initial adjustments to exposure, contrast, and color balance, setting the tone for the scene and ensuring a clean, high-quality starting image. And then we move into the Adobe Photoshop, where we refine the render further. This is where we enhance lighting and shadows. We also add human figures or other objects or elements and introduce effects like bloom, reflections, or textures. These adjustments give the scene a polished, presentation ready look. So after Photoshop, we use Adobe Lightroom for color grading. This step allows us to fine tune the overall tone, mood, and the warmth, and to adjust highlights, midtones, and shadows. It ensures a realistic and consistent atmosphere and across all our interior renders. We can also use Luminar Neo for AI-powered enhancements. This software helps improve lighting conditions, enhance the overall atmosphere, and add subtle ambient effects like sky or fog. It's a faster way to push realism without extensive manual editing. And finally, for animation or walkthroughs, we can turn to Adobe After Effects, and Adobe Premiere Pro. Adobe After Effects adds motion graphics, transitions, and visual effects while Premiere Pro helps us edit the final video, including pacing, the audio, and presentation. Together, they ensure smooth, professional-looking animations for client presentations or design proposals. Here on this slide is the raw morning render of the living area, including the dining area. The base model is complete, but the lighting is still a little bit flat. The colors look slightly muted, and the space feels a bit empty. This is the typical look before any post-processing adjustments. In this next slide, this is the post-processed version. The scene appears brighter and more balanced. We adjusted the exposure, added contrast, and improved the color temperature to match the morning atmosphere. We added human figures into the scene to provide a scene of scale, the sense of scale, and to introduce a touch of activity, helping viewers better relate to the space and imagine how people would naturally interact within it. This is the unedited noontime render of the kitchen and dining area. The lighting is there, but the highlights and shadows aren't defined yet. Textures also appear a bit flat in this stage. And now in this post-processed version, the lighting feels clearer and more realistic. We defined the mid-tones, adjusted color balance to fit a brighter noon setting, and improved material visibility, particularly on the cabinetry and countertop. We also added minimal elements like human figures and small objects to make the scene feel more natural and complete. And moving forward, this slide shows the raw evening render of the bedroom. The lighting is still soft and the overall atmosphere lacks warmth. The shadows and highlights are not yet that fully defined. So after post-processing, we added warmth to the lighting, improved the shadow depth, and applied subtle glow effects to the lamps to match the evening mood. And the color grading creates a warmer, more inviting atmosphere, while a few carefully added elements make the room feel lived in without overly detracting from the overall design. And lastly, here is the raw nighttime render of the living area. The scene looks clean but a little bit flat, and the lighting doesn't fully capture the evening ambience yet. In the final version, we deepened the shadows, enhanced the glow of the light sources, and added contrast to highlight key materials. The color grading creates a warmer, more inviting nighttime atmosphere. Small details and minor enhancements like the addition of dogs playing, a turned on television, and other subtle elements bring life and activity to the scene, making it feel more natural and lived in. While these additions add realism, the main improvements come from the careful adjustments in lighting, color, and material tone.
Next, we have tips, tricks, and common issues for using V-Ray. So in this slide, we can see the keyboard shortcuts for V-Ray, some free asset libraries, and hidden features. Next, we have some common problems and their solutions. So, for example, if the render is too dark, try increasing the sun or light intensity or adjusting the exposure. If the render is too bright, do the opposite. If materials look flat, try tweaking reflection settings, maps, and using higher quality textures. If the render is grainy, try enabling denoiser and adjusting intensity or exposure. If render takes too long, optimize and hide unused objects. If glass renders look wrong, ensure refraction color is white and try tweaking the reflection refraction settings. For fireflies, reduce gloss reflection intensity, and for blurry renders, turn off depth of field, set correct focus distance, and check motion blur settings. Here are also some accessible learning resources like Show It Better, Dookie Channel, SketchUp School, and many other channels on YouTube that are helpful in learning V-Ray. And lastly, here are the finished products of our group's renders.
And this is the finished product for the living room. And this is also the finished product for the bedroom. And this is all for our presentation. Thank you for watching.